Now that we understand a little bit more about search engine optimization and keyword research, let's take a look at how we can actually let the Googlebot know about our website. So let's type in a Google search for Coots Pest Control, which is the pest control company that we've been using as an example throughout the course. When Google shows the pest control results, we see that there is some information here about Coots Pest Control, and we want to find out, okay, how is it that Google has found out about these different sections of the site? And first of all, how did it find out about Coots Pest Control in the first place? Well, the way that it figures out is that we submit what's called a sitemap to Google. A sitemap is essentially a map of every page on the site and all the interconnectedness of the site. We can send this as a file over to Google, and then Google will use this file when the Googlebot goes out, and it's going to try and hit every page that's listed on that sitemap. Now, sitemaps make a huge difference on how your page is indexed and how it ends up ranking in the search results. I recently did a test on this. In fact, I have a website called Calendar Budget, which again I've referred to earlier in the course. And this website Calendar Budget, I did an upgrade to the website, and as it turned out, my sitemap broke. So the sitemap that Google was trying to read was no longer working, and my Alexa rank dropped all the way down to 698,000, which was not very good. It was down pretty low before, down to about 250,000. So I noticed that the Alexa rank started to drop and investigated and finally found the sitemap was broken. So I fixed the sitemap, resubmitted it to Google, and then tracked the Alexa rank over time. And within a 1-month period, the Alexa rank went from 698,000 down to 264,000. A massive, massive improvement on the indexing and ranking on Alexa, with the only change on the site being that sitemap was submitted correctly. So it is very, very important that you submit correctly your sitemap to Google. So we're going to review how to do that today, and we're going to show you how to also use Google and Bing webmaster tools, which will give you a little bit more insight into how your site is indexed and if there's any problems with it. So the first thing we're going to do is go to Google Webmaster Tools, and there you'll see a link to this in the notes for the course on the side. So you'll come to the Webmaster Tools login page, and once you log in, you'll come to a page where it lists all of the websites that you have linked to your Webmaster Tools account. Now in your case, you may have no accounts or no websites listed in your account yet. So what you'll want to do is come over to this red button and click Add a Site. You're going to add the domain name of the site that you want to add. So go ahead and add that, and it'll take you through a process of adding that site and verifying that you actually own the site. Now you may actually have to upload a file to your website so that Google can say, oh, if you can upload a file to your website, you must own the domain. So they're going to make you verify the site. Once you go through that and your site is verified, I want you to click on the site and go into it. Now most of this information will be blank when you first get into it because there really is no activity at this point. But what we want to do is be able to submit a sitemap. So to submit a sitemap, we're going to go down this side menu here, and we want to go to the crawl menu. So open up the crawl menu, and you'll see that there is a sub-menu called Sitemaps. So click on that. And here there's an area where you can submit a sitemap. Again, yours will probably be blank the first time you come into it. What you're going to want to do is click here on the Add a Sitemap. And now it's asking you for the URL to the sitemap for your site. So if you already know it, you can just copy and paste it in here. But probably you don't even have a sitemap for your site yet. So we need to go make sure that we have that. Now I'm going to go back over to the pest control site that we've been using throughout the course as the example, Coots Pest Control. Now Coots Pest Control, again, this is a site that's based off of Joomla. And the way that I'm getting my sitemap is with an excellent plugin called Xmap. So if you are looking for how to get a sitemap in Joomla, just search out the extension called Xmap and install that into Joomla. If you're looking on WordPress to install a sitemap plugin, there's a plugin called Google XML Sitemaps that is very, very good. So I recommend that you install that one. Once you install the plugin, all you need to do is navigate over to the plugin link. You may need to set it up a little bit, but most likely it's just going to work automatically. In the case of the Joomla one, I did have to create a new plugin, but I really didn't have to do any configuration on it. After I've created it, what you really want is this XML sitemap link. So if I just click on that link, it takes me to a web page which shows me all of the different pages that are on my site. In the case of this pest control site, it's listing all of the different services that Coots Pest Control offers. Now, what we want is this URL. Okay, so we're going to copy this. In fact, Google, if you remember, we go back to the sitemap, Google already has the domain name, so we want everything after the first slash. So I'm just going to copy all of this, and we'll go back over to Google Webmaster Tools, and we're going to paste that right there, and then I would click Submit Sitemap. Now I've already added it, so I'm not going to submit it twice, but once you submit it, it'll show up as a sitemap here. The processing will probably be in a pending state as it's waiting for the Google bot to go and follow that sitemap and actually index all of those pages. But it should happen within a few hours, and then Google will automatically know about your site. It'll know about the structure of your site as well, and we'll start making sure that all of those pages are being correctly indexed. And that is exactly what you want to do. Now, we're not going to go through the rest of the Webmaster Tools, but I encourage you to take some time and go through Webmaster Tools, especially after, say, a day after you submit your sitemap. Once Google's had a chance to have a look at your site and have the Google bot, index it as best as it can. This will let you know if there's any errors with what Google is finding there, and it'll give you some suggestions about how to optimize that as well. Now, Google, of course, is the major search engine, has about 70% of the search market in the world. However, it is not the only one. There's another big one called Bing, and of course Yahoo. And now Yahoo is owned by Bing. So what we want to do is make sure that you're submitting your sitemap to both Google and also to Bing. Bing and Yahoo together have, again, about another 23% of the market. So they're going to be another large chunk of the search engines. So you want to make sure that you're there as well. So we're also going to navigate over to Bing Webmaster Tools. Now, once we get to the Bing Webmaster Tools, you'll need to sign in here, not with a Google account, of course, but with a Microsoft account. If you don't have a Microsoft account, again, you'll just have to create one. It's absolutely free, and so go ahead and create one if you don't have one. Now, similarly with the Google Webmaster, you need to first add your domain to Bing. So in this case, what you'll want to do is just start here, enter your domain here, and then click Add. You'll of course have to verify that you own it by, again, adding or uploading that file to your domain so that Bing knows that you actually own the domain. Now, once you have the domain added, go ahead and navigate into it, and over on the sidebar you'll want to go to Configure My Site, and the very first link is for sitemaps. And right here you can copy and paste that same link. So I still have it. In this case I need the entire link, not just the after the slash part. So I would copy that entire link, paste it right here, and click Submit, and then it will be submitted to Bing. It'll go into the same kind of a state like it did on Google. It'll be in a pending state until the Bing bot has a chance to go and navigate that file and peruse your site and index it properly. But again, that won't take very long, maybe a few hours. And then similar to Google Webmaster, we're not going to go through all of these different menu options for diagnostics for your website, but I encourage you to take some time and go through here and just make sure that your site is actually being indexed properly and that there aren't any problems with the web crawler trying to index your site. Again, sitemaps are a huge value to your site and are the easiest way to get your site added to Google and make sure that when people start to do searches, that your site is going to be one of the ones that comes up. The whole process of search engine optimization after you've submitted your site to Google and to Bing is to now get it higher up in the rankings. We did that on-page optimization. Now we're going to focus a little bit more on off-page optimization.